Welcome to Stoic Philosophy for Life. This is not just a place to listen to books, it's a space to feel them with your soul. Here, we illuminate your mind with timeless lessons. Awaken your inner strength, cultivate self-minded discipline, and guide your journey of personal growth. Every word is carefully chosen to reach what you're truly seeking: peace, clarity, and lasting transformation. If this feels like the place for you, hit subscribe and walk this path with us every single day. Now, put on your headphones, take a deep breath, and begin the journey of renewing your mind and your life. 70 life lessons to learn, once that will improve your life forever. Have you ever felt like life is trying to teach you something, but you just keep missing the message? Maybe it shows up as repeated mistakes, the same argument again, the same fear again, the same emptiness no matter what you achieve. Most people keep running, chasing goals, avoiding stillness, hoping the noise will drown out what their soul has been whispering for years. But what if you could pause long enough to listen, really listen, to the wisdom life has been offering you all along? In this episode, I am going to walk you through 70 life lessons, not tips, not hacks, lessons. The kind that, once learned, sink into your bones and quietly transform how you see the world, how you treat others, and how you treat yourself. If you stay with me until the end, I promise you will walk away with insights that feel less like information and more like remembering something you have always known deep down. Let us begin. Lesson 1. Not everything requires your reaction. Imagine someone throws a match at your feet. You can stomp it out, or you can pour gasoline with your anger, your pride, your need to be right. Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The lesson is simple. Peace is preserved by choice, not circumstance. Lesson 2. Self-respect is earned privately. It is not in applause, likes, or someone else's approval. It is earned in the silence of your own decisions when no one is watching, and you still choose integrity. Lesson 3. Your emotions are signals, not commands. Anger, sadness, fear. They are messengers, not masters. You can listen without obeying. You can feel without acting. You can pause. Lesson 4. No one is coming to save you. That may sound cold, but it is one of the most freeing truths you will ever embrace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Waiting for rescue only delays the life you are meant to build. Lesson 5. Growth begins where comfort ends. If everything around you feels predictable, safe, under control, chances are you are not growing. Progress always walks hand in hand with discomfort. Learn to make peace with that tension, and you will outgrow the version of yourself you used to settle for. Lesson 6. Silence is often the strongest reply. You do not need to win every argument. You do not need to be understood by everyone. Sometimes the most powerful position is stillness. Lesson 7. Do not trade what you want most for what you want now. It sounds simple, but this one principle can change your entire life. Discipline is remembering your future when your present tempts you to forget it. Lesson 8. Comparison is a thief with perfect timing. Just when you start to feel proud of your progress, it whispers someone else has done it faster, better, with more attention. But you are not here to outdo someone else's path. You are here to walk yours with depth, not speed. Lesson 9. You are not your thoughts. Your mind can generate fear, doubt, worst-case scenarios on autopilot. That is its job, to protect. But you are the observer, not the storm. Watch your thoughts like clouds. Let them pass. Do not build your identity on weather. Lesson 10. Regret is not punishment, it is a signal. It points to where you were misaligned with your values. Use it. Do not let it define you, but do let it refine you. If you are still here listening, then like me, you are probably done with living passively. Look back at your last 3 decisions. Did they move you forward or hold you back? Did they cost you your peace or protect it? Lesson 11. Not every relationship is meant to last. Some people are meant to teach you a lesson, not stay in your life. Letting go is not failure, it is wisdom. Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." That includes walking away when you must. Lesson 12. Energy is a currency. Spend it wisely. Every complaint, every argument, every moment spent dwelling on what you cannot control, that is a transaction. And most of us are bankrupt without even realizing it. Lesson 13. Protect your mornings. How you begin your day is how you build your life. Start with stillness, reflection, intention, not a flood of noise. The world can wait. Your mind deserves space. Lesson 14. Most people do not hate you. They just do not think about you that much. Sounds harsh, but it is liberating. You are not being judged nearly as much as you fear. Live freely. Lesson 15. No response is a response. Silence is not weakness. Sometimes it is wisdom wrapped in restraint. You do not owe explanations to everyone who misunderstands you. Lesson 16. Forgiveness is not about them. It is about setting yourself free. Holding resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. You deserve peace. Lesson 17. Your attention is your superpower. Whatever you give it to grows. Fear, gratitude, anger, beauty, choose carefully. Lesson 18. Stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a myth. Action is the seed. Clarity grows from movement, not hesitation. Lesson 19. Saying no is a complete sentence. You do not need to explain, justify, or apologize for protecting your boundaries. Lesson 20. The life you want will cost you the life you have. Comfort, familiarity, old habits. If you want change, you must be willing to let parts of you die. If this message moved you, share it with someone who needs it. Lesson 21. Repetition is not failure, it is refinement. Sometimes life makes you repeat a lesson until you no longer react the same way. That is not regression. That is growth in disguise. Lesson 22. You become what you tolerate. The standards you walk past are the standards you accept. Whether it is disrespect, procrastination, or negative self-talk, your boundaries define you more than your goals do. Lesson 23. Time is not something you manage. It is something you spend. And like money, every choice is an investment. The question is, are you buying chaos or clarity? Lesson 24. Suffering multiplies when you resist reality. Pain is inevitable, but suffering often comes from wanting what is not, from clinging, from refusing to let go. Acceptance is not giving up. It is opening up. Lesson 25. Control is an illusion that keeps you from peace. The Stoics were clear. You cannot control what happens, only how you respond. The tighter you grip, the more life slips through your hands. But surrender, real surrender, feels like freedom. Lesson 26. You teach others how to treat you. With every yes you did not mean, every boundary you ignored, every time you laughed at a joke that cut too deep, you told the world your worth. But you can change the script, starting now. Lesson 27. Not every thought deserves a throne. Your mind produces doubts, fears, judgments like a storm. But you do not have to bow to each one. You can witness without worshiping. Lesson 28. Urgency is often a trap. Just because it feels urgent does not mean it is important. Breathe. Pause. Most things can wait. Your clarity cannot. Lesson 29. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. Will fades. Discipline weakens.
but a space that reflects your values, clean, calm, focused, can keep you aligned long after motivation leaves. Lesson 30. You cannot outthink healing. No amount of logic will replace sitting with your pain, grieving what you lost, forgiving what you held. The mind understands, but the heart needs time. Lesson 31. Identity is a choice, not a sentence. You are not your past. You are not your trauma. You are not your worst moment. Every day you are sculpting who you become through your habits, your words, your silence. Lesson 32. Simplicity is clarity. We complicate to avoid. We pile on options, distractions, and noise because truth feels too quiet. But truth is always simple. Not easy, but simple. Lesson 33. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. You can dream big, but if your habits do not align, nothing changes. The Stoics knew daily discipline is divine. Lesson 34. Feelings are real, but they are not always right. Your emotions deserve attention, not authority. They point to a truth, but they are not the whole truth. Lesson 35. You owe yourself the love you so freely give to others, the patience, the encouragement, the forgiveness. Why is it so hard to extend it inward? Maybe because you never believed you were worthy, but you are, always were. Lesson 36. Sometimes the lesson is in the loss. Not everything meant to teach you will stay. Sometimes the leaving is the teaching. Lesson 37. Do not confuse movement with progress. Being busy is not the same as being effective. Activity is not achievement. Rest, done right, is also part of the climb. Lesson 38. Rest is not a reward. It is a requirement. You do not have to earn the right to slow down. Your worth is not tied to your productivity. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Resting well is part of using time well. Lesson 39. Clarity feels like calm. If your answer feels frantic, it is not the right one yet. Truth rarely shouts, it whispers. You hear it best in stillness. Lesson 40. The goal is not to be unbreakable. It is to become anti-fragile, meaning every setback makes you wiser. Every fall gives you new tools. You do not return to who you were. You evolve into who you were meant to be. If you are still listening, you are different. You are not here for noise or quick fixes. You are here because something inside you knows. The quiet truths change everything. Lesson 41. Progress is invisible until it is not. Months of inner work may show no signs until one day you react differently. You choose peace, you speak up, you walk away. That is how change shows itself in ordinary moments, suddenly made extraordinary. Lesson 42. The future is built in micro decisions, not grand gestures, not once-a-year resolutions, but the tiny, unseen moments. One glass of water, one journal entry, one no to what drains you. Lesson 43. Gratitude is not a feeling, it is a practice. You train your mind to see the good. You redirect, you realign, and slowly your life feels lighter, even if nothing outside has changed. Lesson 44. Learn to be misunderstood. It is a price of authenticity. When you stop performing, some will pull away. Let them. You are not here to be decoded by everyone. You are here to live your truth. Lesson 45. Let it be hard. Growth hurts. Healing stings. Facing yourself is not glamorous, but running from discomfort only ensures it chases you. Let it catch you. Let it teach you. If this voice is hitting something deep, that is not by accident. You are remembering something you forgot, your own strength. Lesson 21. Repetition is not failure, it is refinement. Have you ever felt stuck, like life keeps testing you with the same challenge again and again? You promise not to overthink next time, not to overreact, not to return to that toxic pattern. Yet somehow you find yourself back there. But what if that is not failure? What if repetition is simply life saying, you are not finished learning this yet? The Stoics knew that mastery does not come from theory, but from wrestling with the same lesson until your response changes. The shift is not in the situation, it is in who you become in the face of it. Lesson 22. You become what you tolerate. Think of the little things you excuse daily, the disrespect you brush off, the promise to yourself you break, the voice in your head that says, it is not a big deal. But every tolerated moment becomes a thread in the fabric of your identity. What you allow, you invite. What you settle for, you reinforce. The man or woman you wish to become is built on the boundaries you draw today. Lesson 23. Time is not a resource. It is a reflection of your values. Look at your calendar. Look at your screen time. That is your real priority list. We often say we value peace, growth, relationships, but our actions say otherwise. Time spent in distraction, in gossip, and scrolling is not neutral. It is time subtracted from what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, do not waste what remains of your life, because wasting time is not just careless, it is tragic. Lesson 24. Pain that is not transformed is transmitted. When you do not process your pain, you pass it on to your partner, your children, your co-workers, even strangers. A sharp word, a cold silence, an unkind glance. All of it echoes unresolved wounds. Healing is not just personal, it is a responsibility. And the longer you delay it, the more people around you pay for what you have not faced. Lesson 25. You cannot control everything, but you can control the frame. Life throws what it throws. Illness, rejection, uncertainty. But you get to choose the story you tell about it. Is it happening to you or for you? Is this an obstacle or training? Viktor Frankl, who survived the horrors of a concentration camp, said, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude. The Stoics would have nodded in agreement. Lesson 26. Your boundaries are not walls. They are doors with locks. You decide who gets access and when. Not everyone deserves a key, and when you stop letting people violate your peace, your energy, your time, something powerful happens. You begin to feel safe in your own life again. Lesson 27. Not every emotion deserves expression. Feelings are like weather. They shift, they swirl, they often lie. You can feel anger without lashing out. You can feel jealousy without acting small. Emotional maturity is not the absence of emotion. It is the ability to pause, process, and choose your response with wisdom. Lesson 28. Urgency is the enemy of depth. In a world addicted to speed, everything feels like a race. But you do not find your soul in a sprint. Real insight, real clarity, and real transformation come when you slow down, when you allow silence to speak, when you let stillness settle the noise. Seneca warned, people are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to wasting time, they are most wasteful. Rush less. Live deeper. Lesson 29. Environment shapes identity. A Stoic knows that virtue must be chosen daily, but it is easier when you are surrounded by cues that reinforce it. Cluttered space, cluttered mind, toxic company, toxic habits. Create a life that nudges you toward your highest self, even when you are tired.
This part hit me deeply. For a long time, I kept thinking I needed a better version of myself, a better place, or better tools before I could start. But the truth is, I was just afraid to start small. I didn't want to look unfinished. But now I realize there's power in beginning right where you are with what you already have. Not later, not elsewhere. No.
Lesson 30. Healing is not linear. Some days you will feel clear, strong, grounded. Other days, out of nowhere, the past resurfaces. You feel triggered, you spiral, you question your progress. Do not let that discourage you. Healing is like waves, it ebbs and flows. But every return to self is shorter, every pause more intentional. Trust that even setbacks are part of the rebuilding. Lesson 31. The version of you that survived is not the version of you that will thrive. You developed certain traits to cope: people-pleasing, overthinking, perfectionism. But what once protected you may now be limiting you. Growth means honoring that past version, but not living under its rules. It got you here, but it cannot take you further. Lesson 32. Simplicity reveals truth. We overcomplicate to hide, to avoid pain, to postpone decisions. But beneath the chaos, the truth is often clear. That relationship is draining. That habit is harmful. That job is killing your spirit. You already know. You are just afraid to admit it. But once you do, peace rushes in. Lesson 33. Your habits shape your fate, not your intentions, not your dreams. What you do daily when no one is watching builds or breaks you. Discipline is not glamorous, it is boring, it is hard, but it is holy. Epictetus taught that excellence is not a single act, it is a habit. Lesson 34. Your feelings deserve a seat at the table, not the steering wheel. Imagine your emotions as passengers. Listen to them, let them speak, but never let them drive. You are not your anger, you are not your fear. You are the one who decides where the vehicle goes. Lesson 35. You cannot love others well until you learn to love your solitude. If you cannot sit with your own thoughts, you will use others to distract from yourself. Neediness is not love, it is avoidance. The strongest relationships are born from wholeness, not dependency. Lesson 36. Loss clarifies. Nothing strips away illusions faster than losing something you thought you could not live without. A person, a job, a belief. In the aftermath, you learn what remains: your values, your strength, your soul. That is who you truly are. Lesson 37. Being busy is not being brave. Busyness is often a mask, a way to avoid sitting still, facing yourself, asking the hard questions. What are you running from? What would happen if you just paused? Lesson 38. Rest is revolutionary. In a world that profits from your exhaustion, choosing to rest is a form of resistance. The Stoics taught moderation, balance, rhythm. You are not a machine. You are a soul with limits. Respect them. Lesson 39. Clarity is born in the breath between decisions. When you stop reacting, when you create space, truth rises. If the answer feels forced, rushed, panicked, it is not the answer. Wait. Truth arrives quietly. Lesson 40. The goal is not invincibility, it is resilience. You will be broken, you will fail, you will lose, but you do not have to stay down. Every wound can become wisdom. Every fall, a deeper foundation. Strength is not the absence of cracks, it is what grows through them. If you are still listening right now, it says something powerful about you. You are not here to be entertained. You are here to be awakened. Most people scroll past their lessons. You are letting them sink in. That matters. That changes things. Lesson 41. Real progress happens in silence. No one sees you choosing not to argue. No one applauds when you walk away from a toxic habit. But those small, invisible victories, that is what builds real change. Lesson 42, tiny habits are titanic. One mindful breath, one glass of water, one phone call not made, one decision to stay calm. The compound effect is not just for money, it is for self-mastery. Lesson 43, gratitude rewires the mind. It is not about pretending everything is good. It is about seeing the good that is already here. What you focus on expands. Choose your lens wisely. Lesson 44, learn to disappoint others before you betray yourself. You cannot please everyone, and trying will only exhaust you. Say no. Be misunderstood. Protect your peace. Lesson 45, let it be hard, and let it make you better. There is a strange kind of strength born in suffering consciously, not avoiding, not escaping, but sitting in the pain long enough for it to become fuel. That is where you transform. Lesson 46, growth begins with brutal honesty. The moment you admit what is not working, what habits are harming you, what patterns keep repeating, what truths you have been avoiding, you unlock the door to change. Until then, you are building a castle on sand. The Stoics spoke of self-inquiry, of daily reflection. They did not aim to feel good. They aimed to become good. There is no evolution without exposure. Lesson 47, do not confuse familiarity with safety. Just because something is known, an old habit, a toxic relationship, a dead-end job, does not mean it is right for you. The brain loves patterns, even painful ones. But your soul is not here for comfort zones. It is here to grow, and growth often begins where the known ends. Lesson 48, your triggers are teachers. That anger, that jealousy, that resentment, they are signals. Not about the other person, but about your own wounds. Your job is not to avoid being triggered. Your job is to ask, what is this revealing about me? When you get curious instead of reactive, the trigger becomes a path to healing. Lesson 49, you are not late. You are becoming. Life is not a race. The timelines you cling to, by 25 this, by 30 that, are made-up markers. Your journey is not meant to be identical to anyone else's. Marcus Aurelius never rushed. He wrote, do not waste time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. You are not behind. You are becoming. Lesson 50, everything you avoid owns you. That difficult conversation, that pile of debt, that inner truth, avoidance gives it power. When you face what you fear, truly face it, it begins to shrink. Epictetus said, if you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. Courage is not loud. Sometimes it is simply the quiet decision to stop running. Lesson 51, you do not need more time. You need more focus. The hours are already there. The question is, how are you using them? Every notification, every distraction is a tax on your life. Focus is not about discipline. It is about alignment. When you know what truly matters, saying no becomes natural. Lesson 52, stillness is not inaction. It is alignment. In a world of constant movement, stillness feels uncomfortable. But it is in the stillness that you meet yourself, where clarity whispers, where wisdom surfaces. Seneca taught, if a man knows not which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Stillness is how you find your direction again. Lesson 53, let people underestimate you. You do not need to defend your dreams. You do not need to explain your evolution. Most people cannot understand a journey they have never walked. Do not dim your light to make others comfortable. Shine anyway. Lesson 54, not all peace is real peace. Sometimes peace is just avoidance in disguise. You say you are keeping things calm, but really, you are swallowing truth. You are sacrificing your own clarity for the illusion of harmony. Real peace comes from honesty, even when it shakes things up. Lesson 55. Boundaries are the architecture of freedom. Without them, everything leaks. Your time, your energy, your sanity. People do not cross your boundaries because they are evil. They cross them because they work, until you say no, until you make it cost them something, until you make your peace non-negotiable. Lesson 56. Discomfort is not a sign you are doing it wrong. It is often proof you are doing it right. The hard things stretch you. They test your character. They expose your resistance, but they also refine your soul. Nothing significant has ever been built in ease. Lesson 57. You cannot control their perception, only your presence. They will misunderstand. They will project. They will twist your silence or your words. Let them. Show up with integrity and let time do the explaining. Lesson 58. Learn to observe before you absorb. Not every opinion is truth. Not every emotion is yours to carry. You are a filter, not a sponge. The world will always be loud, but you decide what enters. Lesson 59. Fall in love with process, not outcomes. Success is fleeting. Recognition fades, but mastery lives in the process, in the quiet hours, in the repetition, in showing up day after day, even when no one is clapping. Lesson 60. Ask yourself better questions. Instead of why is this happening to me? Ask what is this trying to teach me? Instead of why am I like this? Ask who would I be without this belief? The quality of your life often mirrors the quality of your questions. Lesson 61. Radical responsibility is freedom. The moment you stop blaming, stop outsourcing, stop waiting, you take back your power. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you have control over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Own your story or someone else will write it for you. Lesson 62. Forgiveness is not pretending nothing happened. It is choosing peace over poison. You do not forgive because they deserve it. You forgive because your soul does. You forgive to stop bleeding for wounds they are not even sorry for. That is strength. That is healing. Lesson 63. Choose presence over performance. Stop trying to be impressive. Start being real. The most magnetic people are not perfect. They are present. And when you are truly present, you become unforgettable. Lesson 64. Audit your inputs. Your mind is not invincible. Every podcast, every video, every conversation is programming you. Choose wisely. Protect your attention like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Lesson 65. Let others have their illusions. You are not here to correct everyone. Let the world think what it wants. You are not obligated to carry the burden of their misunderstanding. Free yourself. Lesson 66. The quality of your relationships reflects the quality of your self-respect. Who you allow near you says everything. Choose people who challenge you, inspire you, call you out, and call you forward. Seneca said, associate with people who are likely to improve you. Lesson 67. Practice being the person you admire, not someday. Now, speak like them, think like them, make decisions like them. That version of you is not in the distance. It is in the next decision. Lesson 68. There is no finish line. Only deeper levels. You never arrive. You simply reach new versions of yourself, each one asking for greater integrity, more courage, and deeper honesty. Life is not a race. It is a spiral staircase inward. Lesson 69. You are not here to survive. You are here to serve. Your healing, your growth, your story, they are not just for you, they are for the world. Every time you rise, you make it easier for someone else to believe they can too.
Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you truly chose your peace, your path, your voice? If it's been a while, this is your invitation. Not to chase youth, but to own your story from this chapter onward.
Lesson 70. Everything is practice. Every moment, every interaction, every mistake. Life is not a performance. It is a rehearsal. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are practicing. Keep going. If you are still here, then something in you is awake. Maybe it has been quiet for years. Maybe it is only now beginning to stir, but it is there. That small, steady voice whispering, "You were made for more than noise. You were made for depth. You were made for this." By now, you have heard 70 life lessons. Some of them felt like truths you already knew, buried beneath layers of noise. Others may have challenged you, even made you uncomfortable. But truth does that. It shakes you before it shapes you. And the real question now is, what will you do with them? Because wisdom is not in knowing. It is in doing. It is easy to nod along, to feel inspired, to believe you are changing just because you understand. But life does not respond to understanding. It responds to action. So let us begin again from a different angle. Have you ever wondered why, even after hearing the same advice repeatedly, you still fall back into the same patterns? It is because your life does not change until your identity does. You must stop asking, "What should I do?" and start asking, "Who am I becoming?" That shift from doing to being changes everything. Take this for example. A person who values peace does not just avoid conflict. They build habits that preserve their peace. They say no. They rest intentionally. They choose their words with care. It becomes who they are, not just what they try to do. So here is the truth most people never accept. Real change is boring. It is not a motivational high. It is repetition. It is uncomfortable conversations. It is walking away. It is choosing silence when your ego wants to scream. It is making your bed when no one will see it. It is breathing through a trigger and not reacting. That is transformation. Quiet, consistent, unseen. The Stoics were never concerned with popularity or performance. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, wrote a private journal to himself, Meditations, never meant to be published. Why? Because the battle he was fighting was not out there. It was in here. Every day reminding himself of what mattered, realigning with virtue, preparing his mind for hardship. That same battle is yours now. If these 70 lessons are to live inside you, they must become practices. So here are ways to live them, not just know them. Wake up each morning and ask, what kind of person do I want to be today? Not what tasks must I complete, but what kind of presence do I bring to the world? Will I be calm in chaos, honest in discomfort, disciplined in distraction? At night, ask, where did I lose myself today? Where did I shrink? Where did I react instead of respond? Where did I betray my own truth for temporary comfort? Do not ask these questions to shame yourself. Ask them to recenter, to learn, to sharpen. The Stoics practiced this daily. Self-reflection was not optional. It was their weapon against mediocrity. Next, simplify. Life is already complicated. Your mental state should not be. Create routines that anchor you. Morning silence, evening journaling, limited digital input, a body in motion. These small rituals build internal architecture. You want peace? Structure your life to support it. Want confidence? Keep promises to yourself, however small. Wake up when you said you would. Follow through on the hard thing. Confidence is not a gift. It is self-respect accumulated over time. Want clarity? Get quiet. Go for long walks without your phone. Watch the thoughts that arise. Write them down. Let your mind breathe. Clarity is not found in more information. It is found in less noise. Want discipline? Decide once. Most people fail because they try to decide daily. Should I go to the gym? Should I journal? Should I eat well today? Decide once. Build systems, remove friction, And remind yourself, it is not about motivation, it is about identity. A disciplined person does disciplined things, even when they do not feel like it. And want to suffer less? Practice detachment, not indifference, but inner freedom. Do not cling to outcomes. Do not demand perfection. Show up. Do your best. Let go. Epictetus said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some things are not." Repeat that until it becomes reflex, because here is the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. You are not a victim of your habits. You are the author of them. Every day is a vote. Every decision is a brick. What are you building? Your triggers, your laziness, your self-doubt, they are not flaws. They are data. They show you where your work is, where your next evolution waits. Let them teach you. And when you fail, and you will fail with grace, fall forward, begin again, not from scratch, but from experience. The Stoics failed too. They just did not make it personal. They got back up every time. If you are still here, then like me, you are done with living on autopilot. You are done pretending someday will save you. You are ready to take radical responsibility. That means no more waiting, no more wishing, no more outsourcing your worth to the past, to people, to outcomes. You are already whole. These lessons, they are not meant to fix you. They are meant to free you, because the best version of you, it is not out there. It is not a title or a body or a bank balance. It is a mindset, a way of walking through the world, calm, present, rooted, unshakable. And the only way to become that person is to start living like them now. So what if today you started? What if today you acted like your future self was watching? What if today you stopped waiting for clarity and started creating it? What if today you made the hard choice and trusted that your future would thank you? You already know what to do. Now go live it. There is a hidden war being fought every day, and most people do not even realize it. It is not in politics or finance. It is not out there. It is inside. It is the war between who you are now and who you could become. And the battlefield is ordinary. It is the snooze button, the tone of your voice in an argument, the moment you decide whether to check your phone or check in with yourself, the meal you eat, the words you speak, the thoughts you feed. This is where the real fight happens, and you win not with one massive decision, but 1,000 tiny ones. Quiet, consistent, disciplined. Most people are not living, they are reacting, bouncing from emotion to emotion, situation to situation, hoping that someday their life will click. But nothing clicks on its own. What clicks is the moment you stop blaming the world and start mastering yourself. The Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself daily, not because he had nothing better to do, but because he knew something most people forget. Untrained minds destroy lives. You must train it, like a muscle, like a warrior, and that training begins in the mundane. Want to become focused? Train yourself to sit in silence without reaching for stimulation. Want to become calm? Practice patience in traffic, in conversations, in delay. Want to become strong? Choose the hard thing when no one will see or praise it. That is the practice. That is the battlefield. And you are in it whether you know it or not. Let me tell you something honest. Life is hard. There is no mindset that will make you immune to pain, but there is a mindset that will make you unshakable in it. The Stoics never said, "Do not feel." They said, "Do not be ruled by feeling." There is a difference. You are allowed to feel fear. You are not allowed to let it dictate your future. So start acting like the person you want to be, not when you feel like it, now. Because feelings follow action, confidence follows discipline, clarity follows consistency. Most people wait to feel ready. But readiness is not a door you walk through. It is a result you earn through motion, through showing up when your mind says, hide. And do not underestimate the power of the small. 5 minutes of journaling, 1 deep breath before speaking, putting your phone down at dinner, going to sleep when you said you would. These are not minor things. These are the bricks of a foundation most people never build. If you are thinking, that sounds exhausting, let me tell you what is more exhausting: regret. Living in cycles, waking up at 40 or 60 or 80 and realizing you lived someone else's script, that you had the truth in front of you and never chose to live it. So choose it. Choose discipline, choose structure, choose honesty, choose responsibility, not because it is easy, but because it is right. And yes, people will misunderstand you. They will say you are too intense, too quiet, too focused. Let them talk. Let them laugh. You are not building your life for applause. You are building it for alignment. You know what is really rebellious in this world? Stillness, restraint, depth. In a culture addicted to more noise, more attention, more validation, choosing less, choosing intention is the most radical thing you can do. The Stoics would say, as long as you do what is right, do not care what anyone thinks. That is not arrogance. That is inner peace. And if you stumble, and you will, do not spiral. Remember, falling is not failure. Staying down is. Get up, adjust, begin again. Every time you restart, you reinforce a truth. You are not your past. You are your persistence. If you are still listening, you are not just collecting words. You are sharpening a mindset. You are aligning with the version of you who has always been waiting for you to stop apologizing for being intense, for being focused, for wanting more than comfort. Because comfort is the enemy of greatness. Comfort lulls you into smallness. It says, this is good enough. But good enough never is, not when your soul knows what it came here to do. So be relentless, not harsh, not cruel, but committed. To waking up earlier, to speaking less and listening more, to doing the thing you promised yourself you would do, to taking ownership when you screw up, to sitting with discomfort instead of numbing it. You do not have to be perfect. You just have to be honest with yourself, with your patterns, with your excuses, because your excuses are thieves. Every time you say, I do not have time, or I will start Monday, or that is just how I am, you hand your life to your old self. The self you are trying to outgrow. That version of you is not evil, but it is outdated, and outdated systems produce outdated results. If you want new outcomes, you need new input. Feed your mind better. Fill your calendar with fewer distractions. Surround yourself with people who stretch you, not shrink you. Set boundaries like your future depends on it, because it does. And when it gets hard, when the old voice whispers, just give up, breathe. Remind yourself why you began. Remember what it felt like to be at rock bottom. Remember how tired you were of surviving. You are not surviving anymore. You are building, and that takes work. It takes saying no when it is easier to say yes. It takes choosing sleep over scrolling. It takes being the calm one when everyone else is screaming. That is power, quiet, steady power. Let others live in chaos. You build peace. You protect your energy. You keep your word. You chase depth, not dopamine. Because one day, when the noise fades, you will stand tall, rooted, centered, free, and you will know every disciplined decision led you here. That life, it is not luck, it is not a gift. It is built, brick by brick, day by day, breath by breath. There comes a moment in every person's life when silence becomes the teacher. Not the silence of boredom, not the silence of isolation, but the deeper silence, the one that arrives when all the noise has failed you. When the achievements no longer satisfy, the approval no longer feeds you, and the distractions no longer work. It is the silence that asks, "Who are you?" without the noise. And most people run from it. But you, if you have come this far, you do not run anymore. You sit in it. You let it strip away what is false, because until you can sit in silence and feel whole, you will chase noise thinking it is meaning. This is where the Stoics lived, in the still center of chaos. Marcus Aurelius had power beyond comprehension, but he wrote like a monk. Epictetus lived in slavery, yet spoke like a king. Seneca was surrounded by wealth, but chose wisdom over indulgence. They knew that power without stillness is dangerous, but power rooted in silence, that is unshakable. And now it is your turn. The next stage of your evolution is not louder, it is quieter. It is not flashier, it is deeper. It is not more crowded, it is more intentional. You are no longer interested in convincing the world. You are interested in converting the self. But the truth is, this part is hard, because growth demands grief. Yes, grief. Not just grief for others, but grief for the parts of you that must die. The comfort seeker, the victim, the version of you who chose ease over integrity. You must grieve who you could have been if you had started sooner. Grieve the time you lost in distraction. Grieve the identity you clung to just to feel accepted. Only then can you be reborn. You must understand, transformation is not glamorous. It is raw. It is messy. It will require you to be both sculptor and stone. Some days you will feel strong. Others you will feel like you are unraveling. But keep going. The unraveling is part of the weaving, and no one becomes who they were meant to be without first shedding who they were told to be. This is the pain most people avoid. But you are done avoiding. Now you are learning to endure. And here is the truth about endurance. It is not just about holding on, it is about how you hold on. With grace, with dignity, with the quiet strength of someone who knows they are not alone in their suffering. You will face betrayal, injustice, loss, doubt, and every time you will be tempted to become bitter. But do not. Bitterness is easy. It is the language of the untrained heart. Choose clarity instead. Choose response over reaction. Choose stillness over chaos. The Stoics taught, adversity does not break the man, it reveals him. So when the test comes, and it will, ask yourself, what kind of person do I want this pain to make me? Let that answer guide your response. Let that answer shape your next breath, and remember, you do not have to feel strong to be strong. Some of your greatest victories will come on days when you wanted to disappear, but you did not. You stood up. You moved forward. Even if your hands were shaking. That is resilience. Quiet. Invisible. Absolute. If you are still here, you are not average, not because you are special, but because you are willing to go where most people refuse. You are willing to sit with truth, to endure discomfort, to look in the mirror and not flinch. And in that, you are becoming someone different. You are no longer waiting for life to be easier. You are becoming stronger. You are no longer chasing validation. You are building self-respect. You are no longer numbing your wounds. You are healing them. And that healing, make no mistake, is a revolution. Because healed people stop cycles. Healed people speak differently. They love differently. They lead differently. They stop projecting and start reflecting. They stop competing and start creating. They stop reacting and start responding. But that healing takes time. Do not rush it. There is no timeline for becoming whole. Some wounds do not close on schedule. Some days you will regress. Some mornings you will wake up tired of the fight. And on those days, remember this. Progress is not perfection. It is persistence. Keep showing up. Even if all you can do today is breathe with intention, even if your only victory is that you did not quit, that counts. That is enough. That is how the future is built. Let me tell you something I know from experience. You will not always be celebrated for this path. Some people will outgrow you. Some will resist your growth because it confronts their stagnation. That is not your burden. Your job is not to be liked. Your job is to be real. And being real means living from your values, not your wounds. It means being kind, but not soft, firm, but not cruel, open, but not naive, strong, but not performative. That kind of strength, the Stoics knew, is forged in fire. So let the fire come. Let it burn away what is false. Let it leave only what is essential. And in that fire, find your center. It is quiet there, steady, still. It does not care who is watching. It does not need applause. It just is. If you are still listening right now, I want you to do something, not later, now. Ask yourself, what part of me am I ready to leave behind? What lie am I tired of believing? What truth am I finally ready to live? Write it down, whisper it out loud, or simply hold it in your chest like a vow. Then breathe, because that breath, that decision, that moment, it is the beginning of something real. You are no longer who you were, and you are not yet who you will become. You are in the sacred in-between. Honor it. Trust it. Keep walking.
You've come this far, and that says something powerful about you. Not everyone chooses to grow after life gets loud and complicated. But you did. And that choice, quiet as it may seem, is how reinvention begins.
There is a moment in every journey where you stop asking, how much farther, and start asking, what am I carrying that I no longer need? You begin to realize that the weight is not just on your shoulders, it is in your mind. The expectations, the regrets, the comparisons, the identities you never questioned. You have been walking with things that do not belong to you, opinions that are not yours, dreams that were inherited, not chosen, pain that was passed down, not created by you, but carried all the same. And in that moment, something profound happens. You start letting go. Letting go is not giving up. It is not quitting. It is an act of courage. It is saying, I am no longer available for who I used to be. I am no longer renting space in my mind to beliefs that keep me small. I am no longer willing to live a life built on what they said, what they thought, or what they expected. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca wrote, until we have begun to go without them, we fail to realize how unnecessary many things are. We have been using them not because we needed them, but because we had them. What are you holding on to that is not needed? Here is the truth most people avoid. Freedom is not something you find. It is something you strip down to. You were born free, free of self-doubt, free of social masks, free of all the layers that time and fear and culture piled on top of you. And now the work is not to go get something new, it is to return to something real. So let us begin here. With your identity, you are not your job, you are not your productivity, you are not your role in someone else's life, you are not the number on a scale, you are not the worst thing you have done or the best thing you have accomplished. You are deeper than that, wider, wiser, and until you stop building your worth on what changes, you will never feel stable. What if you believed that nothing needs to be added to you to make you valuable? What if instead of seeking more, you sought clarity? What if you stopped trying to become someone and instead started unbecoming everything that is not you? That is the real path. It is not sexy. It will not sell courses or go viral, but it is honest and it works. Start here. Audit your attachments. Ask yourself, what do I think I need to be okay? Write it out. Is it someone's love, someone's apology, a certain income, a certain body, a certain level of recognition? Now, imagine losing it. Yes, it hurts, but then you are still here, still breathing, still whole. You see, what you thought you needed was often just what you feared losing. But fear is not truth. Fear is just the body trying to predict pain. Letting go means learning to live without the crutches. It means trusting that you can stand on your own, that even without the title, the relationship, the validation, you are still enough. And this, perhaps, is the most radical form of power, non-attachment. Not indifference, not apathy, but love without clinging, success without ego, peace without control. The world will not teach you this. The world will say more is better, but more is not better if it costs you your soul. Let go. Let go of needing to be understood. Most people are too distracted to even understand themselves. Their misunderstanding of you says nothing about your truth. Let go of needing to be seen all the time. Some of your most important growth will happen in silence, in solitude, in shadows. That is not exile. It is sacred ground. Let go of needing to be perfect. You are not a machine. You are a soul, raw and human. Mistakes are part of the sculpture. Let go of needing constant motivation. Motivation is a wave. It rises and crashes. But discipline is the ocean underneath. Learn to ride both. Let go of needing closure from people who never gave you honesty in the first place. Let go of the life you thought you should be living. It was probably built on someone else's template anyway. Let go of the narrative that says it is too late. The only thing too late is the thought that it is. Let go of trying to control outcomes. Your job is the input, how you show up, what you give, how you speak. The rest is not yours to manage. Let go of performing. Let go of curating your life for applause. The truth is, most people are too consumed with their own lives to care about yours. And those who do care, they will see you clearly even in your silence. And finally, let go of guilt. Guilt is useful only as a teacher. Once it has taught you, it must leave. Otherwise, it becomes a prison. You are not meant to live in shame. You are meant to live in alignment. This kind of letting go is not a one-time act. It is a daily release, a breath, a whisper, I am okay without this. And every time you let go, you become lighter, freer, more whole. If you are still here, still listening, then you are ready. You are ready to stop gripping so tightly to what was. You are ready to make space for what could be. You are ready to walk away from the lie that you are not enough, that you must earn your worth, that you must prove your right to exist with achievement. No, you exist. Therefore, you are worthy. From that truth, everything changes. From that truth, you build not just a life, but a self. A self that is grounded in values, not validation. A self that can be calm in storms. A self that can bend without breaking. A self that knows when to fight and when to surrender. A self that does not need to be everything to everyone, but everything to itself. That is where we are headed. Not up, not forward, but inward. And from there, everything else takes care of itself. There is something sacred about slowing down. Not laziness, not procrastination, but intentional stillness. The kind that makes you look around and realize most people are running nowhere. They are sprinting toward goals they never questioned, chasing things that never really mattered. And in the rush, they are missing it all. The laughter, the breath, the quiet miracle of being alive. You know it too, do you not? That hollow feeling after the checklist is complete. That ache after the victory. That strange emptiness in the middle of noise and motion. It is not that you are broken. It is that the life you were told to build was. The Stoics warned us, busyness is not virtue. It is often distraction. Beware the barrenness of a busy life, said Socrates. But in this world, speed is sold as success. Hustle is worshipped, rest is mistaken for weakness. And so we move faster, scroll faster, respond faster, achieve faster, but feel less, think less, live less. You want to change your life? Start by slowing down, not forever, just enough to listen, to truly see where your energy is going. To ask the question most people are too afraid to face, is this how I want to live or just how I was trained to? Most people have never paused long enough to hear their own soul speak. They are moving so fast they think anxiety is ambition, that numbness is discipline, that burnout is proof of passion. It is not. It is misalignment. You cannot live a meaningful life if you never stop to ask what meaning means to you. So stop, pause, look around. Where is your time going? What are you consuming daily? Not just food, but information, energy, emotion. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are you becoming? These questions are uncomfortable. That is why most avoid them. But you are not here to avoid discomfort. You are here to outgrow it. Because the deeper truth is this: your life is not meant to be a blur. It is meant to be vivid, present, felt. And presence is not a personality trait. It is a practice. It is choosing to breathe deeply in traffic instead of reacting. It is choosing to eat without a screen. It is choosing to walk slowly, to listen fully, to speak less. It is choosing to sit with a feeling instead of escaping it. Presence is not what you do when everything is perfect. It is what you do when the world tempts you to run and you choose to stay. That is power, the kind of power the Stoics built daily, not the power of domination, but the power of attention. Because attention is everything. Whatever you give it to grows. Give it to fear, fear expands. Give it to gratitude, gratitude deepens. Give it to chaos, chaos multiplies. Give it to clarity, and clarity sharpens. So ask yourself, where has your attention been lately? Not what do you want, but what are you feeding? Your mind is not a container, it is a garden. Every thought you let repeat is a seed. And the fruits you are harvesting today? They were planted by yesterday's focus. That is why the Stoics meditated, not to escape, but to sharpen. They practiced mindfulness before it had a name. They journaled not for Instagram, but for alignment. Because they knew a life worth living is not one that looks good. It is one that feels true. Truth feels like peace. Truth feels like lightness in the chest. Truth feels like being able to look in the mirror without flinching. That kind of life. It is not loud. It does not beg for attention. It does not need applause. It breathes quietly. It walks gently, but it shakes the world. And you? You are becoming that kind of person because you are learning that the point is not to have a perfect life. It is to live a present one. One where you are not ruled by reaction. One where silence is not awkward. It is sacred. One where your decisions come from values, not pressure. One where success is not how much you have, but how little you need to feel whole. If you are still here, then you already know. This world is starving for presence, for depth, for people who are done performing and ready to live, for those who can slow down in a rushing world and say, this moment right here is enough. So give yourself permission to be quiet, to be unseen, to be simple, to not always be achieving, proving, becoming. You are allowed to just be. And in that being, you will find what the world is chasing. If this message is landing in your chest, then you are probably like me, tired of rushing, tired of proving, tired of waiting for peace to arrive someday. You are ready to create it now. So breathe, unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, put down the pressure, and remember, life does not happen someday, it happens now. There will come a season in your life when the path gets quiet. The crowd disappears, the applause fades, and you are left standing alone, with only your choices, your integrity, and your inner voice. That season is not a punishment, it is a rite of passage. You are not being abandoned, you are being called inward. Because real strength is forged in solitude. Not loneliness, but solitude. There is a difference. Loneliness is feeling empty in a crowd. Solitude is feeling full while alone. It is not about who is around you. It is about who is within you. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus taught that you must be your own master, that no person should hold the strings to your peace, that the highest form of power is self-command. But that power does not arrive with age or achievement. It arrives when you stop outsourcing your direction to the opinions of others. Most people are afraid to walk alone. They need validation, agreement, permission. But you, if you are truly ready to live free, must learn to move without consensus. Not recklessly, not rebelliously, but quietly, calmly, with conviction, because truth is not decided by majority, and alignment does not require applause. This is where your true test begins, when you do the right thing and no one notices, when you choose the harder path and no one claps, when you walk away from the noise and people call it weakness. Stay the course. Your peace is not for sale. Because here is what few will tell you. Being misunderstood is part of becoming unshakable. The more honest you become, the more resistance you will face. Not because you are wrong, but because your clarity exposes others' confusion. Your stillness threatens their chaos. Your self-respect shines light on their compromises. Let them feel uncomfortable. You are not here to make people comfortable with your truth. You are here to be truthful, even if it costs you comfort. That is courage, not the kind that screams, but the kind that stands still. The kind that walks away when everyone else is staying. The kind that stays silent when everyone else is shouting. The kind that chooses integrity over inclusion, because integrity means alignment between values and action. It is living so consistently that your words, your decisions, your emotions all point in the same direction. And you cannot fake that. You either live it or you do not. There will be days when you are tempted to go back, to water yourself down, to explain your path to people who are not even listening, to shrink just enough to fit back into the places you outgrew. Do not. Going back to who you were will never give you the peace you seek, because peace is found in honoring your evolution, not escaping it. And growth always demands you leave something behind. Sometimes it is a habit. Sometimes it is a belief. Sometimes it is a person. Let it go. Let them go. If they were meant to walk this chapter with you, they would not ask you to dim your light to stay close. There is a type of loneliness that feels like death at first, but becomes freedom later. When you stop pretending, when you stop pleasing, when you stop waiting for others to approve a version of you they never really knew. That is when your real life begins. And no, it will not be easy. There will be days when the silence is loud, when the path is unclear, when doubt creeps in and whispers, "Are you sure this is worth it?" Breathe. Anchor into the truth you already know. Peace costs what it costs. You do not get it by accident. You build it by design. By saying no when it would be easier to say yes. By choosing solitude over fake company. By standing tall in rooms that want you small. By choosing depth in a world addicted to dopamine. If you are still here listening, then you are not afraid to walk alone. You have already outgrown the illusion that someone else can give you what you have always had the power to create: presence, purpose, and peace. And that makes you rare. So keep going. Keep writing your truth, even when no one reads it. Keep practicing your values, even when no one rewards it. Keep showing up for yourself, even when no one thanks you, because the reward is not in recognition. The reward is in who you become through the process. The reward is knowing that when you lay your head down at night, you did not betray yourself. That is the quiet confidence the world cannot take from you. So let them talk, let them doubt, let them watch you from a distance they chose. And you, You walk anyway, you speak anyway, you create anyway, you love anyway, not because it is easy, but because it is yours, because the path may be narrow, but it is true, because you are not here to conform, you are here to awaken. And in that awakening, you will lose much, but you will gain yourself. And that is everything. There is one truth that levels every ego, silences every argument, and brings even the most powerful to their knees. You will die. That is not meant to scare you. It is meant to wake you up. Memento mori, the ancient Stoic phrase, means remember that you must die. It was not a slogan of fear, it was a call to presence, a compass to meaning, a daily reminder to stop wasting time and start living deliberately, because death is not the enemy, wasting life is. Most people do not live, they survive. They endure routines, they numb discomfort, they avoid reflection, they chase temporary highs, and then they wonder why peace feels like a stranger. But the truth is, peace only arrives when you stop pretending you have forever. Think about it. How would you treat today if you knew it might be your last normal day? Not your last breath, just your last ordinary Tuesday. Would you scroll less? Would you complain less? Would you speak differently to the people you love? Would you finally stop postponing that dream, that call, that apology? Memento mori is not morbid. It is clarity. It reminds you that every second is an investment. Every word is a legacy. Every breath is a miracle. And every delay is a lie whispered by comfort and fear. The Stoics stared death in the face daily, not because they were obsessed with dying, but because they wanted to master the art of living. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." What if you lived like that? What if you began every morning with the thought, this could be the last time? The last time you see that sunrise. The last time you speak to your mother. The last time you hear that laugh, walk that street, feel the rain. Would you rush through it? Would you fill it with distractions? Or would you finally slow down enough to actually feel it? We forget how fragile this is until the diagnosis comes, until the accident happens, until the phone call breaks you, and then suddenly everything small becomes sacred, the breath, the silence, the presence of someone you love. But why wait for death to remind you to live? You have the power now to live awake, to live on purpose, to let go of what does not matter and hold tightly to what does. And what matters is not your status, not your followers, not your resume. What matters is whether you were here, fully, with your mind, your heart, your presence. Because everything you think you are chasing, peace, meaning, fulfillment, is not found later. It is found now, in the way you hold your coffee, in the way you look someone in the eyes, in the way you breathe when the world feels heavy, in the way you forgive, not because they deserve it, but because your soul does. This is what the Stoics understood. If you want to conquer death, live in such a way that you are ready for it, not with fear, but with clarity, with integrity, with nothing left unsaid. Let that truth soften your edges. Let it make you kinder, faster. Let it make you less reactive, more reflective. Let it remind you to say, I love you sooner, to walk slower, to judge less, to appreciate more. Because what if you never get this moment again? What if the last time you saw someone truly was the last time? Would you still be so easily offended? Would you still spend hours arguing with strangers? Would you still obsess over being liked? No. You would hug longer, speak gentler, laugh louder. You would forgive, not because they apologized, but because you would finally see how little time any of us really have. And if you are still here, still listening, then maybe, just maybe, you are ready to live like that now, not tomorrow, not next year, now. You do not need a near-death experience to wake up. You just need to stop living like you are invincible, because you are not. And that is the most beautiful truth of all. It means every moment counts. Every breath is sacred. Every step is a chance to begin again. So begin. Say the hard thing. Do the brave thing. Be the calm in chaos. Be the light in shadows. Live so fully that if today was your last day, you would not waste time wishing for another, because you already gave this one everything you had. That is Stoic living. That is real freedom. Let us be honest. Knowing the truth does not change your life. Living it does. And living it, that is where most people stop. They listen. They nod. They highlight the quotes. They repeat the phrases. But when the pressure hits, when the comfort fades, when the loneliness creeps in, they fold. Not because they are weak, but because they never practiced the truth long enough for it to become reflex. Wisdom without repetition is like muscle without movement. It looks good on paper, but it fails when tested. That is why the Stoics were relentless in their routines. Marcus Aurelius did not just write thoughts, he rewrote them. Epictetus reminded himself daily of the same principles. Seneca rehearsed death, detachment, disappointment, not out of pessimism, but out of preparation, because life does not care what you know. It cares what you do when it gets hard. And here is what no one tells you. The real transformation. It happens in boredom, in the repetition, in the days when it would be easier to skip the workout, avoid the journal, break the promise, lose your patience, and you do not. You show up anyway. That is where identity is forged. Not in motivation, but in momentum. Not in feelings, but in follow-through. Not in the dramatic, but in the daily. The work is unglamorous, it is lonely, it is thankless, but it is worth it. Because every time you choose discipline over distraction, you cast a vote for the person you are becoming. Every time you do the hard thing in silence, you write a new paragraph in your story. And if you are thinking, but I fall off, I mess up, I lose momentum, good. That means you are human. This path is not about perfection, it is about resilience. Falling is part of the rhythm. Getting back up, that is the music. What matters is not whether you fall. What matters is whether you use the fall as fuel. Ask yourself, who do I become after I fail? Do I numb? Do I spiral? Do I hide? Or do I reflect, rebuild, return? That is the mark of someone who is actually growing. Not someone who never struggles, but someone who struggles consciously, who sees pain as feedback, who turns mistakes into material, who does not quit when it gets dark, but lights a candle and keeps walking. You want to know the secret to real strength? It is not talent, not intelligence, not charisma. It is the willingness to begin again 1,000 times. That is what most people will not do. They will start strong, post about it, shout it loud. But when it gets hard, they vanish. But you come back quietly, softly, fully, again and again, because you understand. This life is not about performing. It is about becoming, and becoming takes time. And time, when used well, shapes you. It sands down your ego. It teaches you patience. It builds depth, but only if you stay long enough to let it. That is the Stoic way. Not coldness, not apathy, but patient transformation through persistent effort. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." How much longer will you wait to live like it matters, to right the thing, to end the pattern, to speak the truth, to show up when it would be easier to disappear? You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be present. And you are not here to look powerful. You are here to be powerful, to live like your life matters. Not just someday, not just when it is easy, but now, in the ordinary, in the uncomfortable, in the unseen. If you are still listening, I will tell you something most people are too distracted to hear. Your life will be shaped by what you repeat. So repeat the right things. Repeat truth. Repeat calm. Repeat courage. Repeat discipline. Repeat forgiveness. Repeat getting back up. That is mastery. That is freedom. That is who you are becoming. One quiet, disciplined act at a time. You have come this far, and that means something. It means you are not here for the noise, not here for the surface. You are here because something inside you has begun to shift, something quiet, steady, and unshakable. You are starting to remember who you really are beneath the roles, the labels, the expectations. And now the real work begins, not in seeking more, but in becoming less distracted from what already lives inside you. Because what you have heard is not just information. These 70 lessons, these truths, they are not meant to sit in your mind. They are meant to be lived in your habits, your tone, your presence. You do not become wise by listening. You become wise by remembering the truth in your bones and acting like it matters. Not once, but over and over, until it becomes who you are. We live in a world obsessed with constant arrival, a better version, a higher status, a cleaner brand. But the Stoics remind us, there is no finish line. There is only return, returning to the breath, returning to stillness, returning to the self. You do not need to reinvent yourself. You need to remove what is not truly you, what was taught, projected, downloaded. You are not becoming someone else. You are coming home. That return will require strength, the kind of strength no one applauds, the kind that gets up early when no one is watching, that sets boundaries without guilt, that forgives quietly, that walks away from noise even when silence feels lonely. It is the quiet strength of someone who no longer needs permission to live in alignment. And that alignment is not about being perfect. It is about being honest, about knowing where you fall off track and coming back, not with shame, but with grace. Real growth does not happen in motivation spikes. It happens in the spaces where most people quit. You grow not because you felt like it, but because you showed up anyway. Do not forget, every moment is a fork in the road. Every thought you entertain is either planting peace or planting chaos. Every response you give is either reinforcing your values or your impulses. You do not become disciplined someday. You become disciplined this moment with one small decision. The work is here. It always has been. And yes, you will fall. You will break your own rules. You will lose momentum. But that's not the end. It is part of the rhythm. Falling is feedback, not failure. Every time you begin again, you become stronger. The scar does not weaken you. It reminds you what you survived. Let it guide you. At this point, the question is not whether you are capable. You are. The question is whether you will stay awake, whether you will let yourself drift back into distraction, into performance, into waiting, or whether you will return again and again to what matters, to this breath, this moment, this choice. So make the choice, not to be perfect, but to be present, to live as if your time mattered, because it does, to speak with intention, to work with integrity, to love without performance, to be calm in chaos and grounded in your own values. You do not need anyone's permission to live that way. Not your past, not your boss, not your family. You have already been given the only permission that matters, your own willingness to begin. If you are still here, then you are not like most people. You are not chasing quick fixes. You are seeking quiet strength. You are not interested in appearing powerful. You are committed to being powerful through presence, patience, and practice. You have seen the patterns, and now you are choosing to break them. That will take everything, but it will give you more than you imagined. Peace that cannot be stolen, direction that cannot be shaken, self-respect that does not require recognition, clarity that feels like stillness, a life not just full, but felt. So here it is, your invitation to live fully, to lead gently, to rise quietly, to walk as if every step is your last, but every breath is your first, to speak less, mean more, love deeply, protect your energy, choose calm, be true. Let this be the return, not to hustle, not to performance, but to truth. You do not need to be someone new. You need to be who you already are, before the world taught you to be afraid of your own depth. So live from that place, and do not look back. If this message moved you, then share it. Not because I asked, but because someone else out there needs a reminder too. The path forward is not out there, it is within.
If this journey has stirred something inside you, hold on to it. Nurture it. Don't let this be just another video. Let it be a reminder that you still have time, choices, and power. And if this message spoke to you, stay with us. Let's keep lighting up your mind, one story at a time.